Well, bueno, estamos acá para. Hi, how are you? We are here to talk with the Adams family about his amazing film, Hellbender. Wait. We are. Hi guys, welcome. We are waiting for the Adams family. Estamos esperando a los Adams. Hey, ¿cómo va,
Buenas.
Clara?
¿Cómo va? ¿Todo bien?
Bien, bien, bien. Acá estamos esperando ahí que se conecten los Adams. Estaban viendo cómo entraban en la cama de los cuatro. Así que vamos a hablar con
Oh, sí,
ellos.
fue
Les
lindo.
dije bueno, nada, que cambiamos el horario para que pudieras estar, que
Ay,
querías hablar
please.
con ellos.
Lo estoy haciendo ahora desde tipo la motorhome del rodaje, pero quería estar sí o sí porque cuando vi Hellbender, honestamente tenía muchas ganas de hablar con la familia Adams para nada, para que me cuenten un poco de lo que fue filmar esa película porque me re gustó y me re llevó.
Hey,
¡Hi!
Hi.
¡Hi!
Hello.
I'm such a fucking fan. I can't believe it. I'm like fan crush right now. I can't believe that you're all four over there. It's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh my god. I fucking congratulate you for your film. It was amazing. Such a good film.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a fan.
Fine. Well, and now we gotta watch you.
No, no, please don't watch me. I'm not as high as you. I'm just No, but honestly, I honestly adored your film. I watched it and I finished watching it and I wrote to Adrian because he was really promoting it and I didn't have time to watch it. And when I watched it like 2 days ago, I was like, Adrian, this is a fucking amazing film. We have to speak about this film. And he was like, okay, we're gonna make a live. He was like, no, I want to be in the live. Like, please.
Well, thank you for talking with us.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet you tonight.
No, amazing and congratulations because honestly, I think it's difficult nowadays to make a horror film, in my opinion. It's very difficult to do a very original and good horror film. And I think that yours is this perfect example of a beautiful indie horror film. And I honestly really recommend everyone to watch it because and I adore female leads, and you were amazing. All of you were amazing. And I adore female leads, the story about a female lead, every struggle that she, or in this case, all of you have. It was amazing and were really profound. Great effects, great atmosphere, great cinematography. I think, honestly, one of the best films I watched this year by far.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. Let me write that down.
No, and
no,
we had to speak about what was I didn't know that you were a family, and Adrian told me, no, they're a family. I was like, what?
Even though
And
we
they
do things to each other.
and they also are a family. Like, what? This is amazing. We have to speak about this. Like, what was it like to do a film in family? I mean, that is something that blew my mind because I honestly would adore to make a film with my family. And this is a great film. So what was your experience? Just tell us.
Well, we are all so close. Like, we're all just friends. We are family, but we're also friends. We've been doing it for around 12 years now. We started when I was 6 and when Lulu was 11. And we just wanted to make a film together, and here we are now. It's like our way of getting closer and bonding together.
No, I bet it's. And what about the post? You also edit the film and do the effects, everything. You do it all yourself. That is fucking amazing.
That's what's
I
so
can't
fun
believe
about
it.
it. You know, it's just fun to be able to, if you do everything yourself, you don't have to ask somebody permission.
Mm.
Well, in indie horror, I mean, in indie films, honestly, with the people I work, uh, the director is also the producer and the editor and the it's like they are all small James Cameron like sort of clones, and they go around doing everything themselves. So I think that you have to adapt, but that doesn't mean that like something that I speak with Adrian a lot is that a good film is a good story. Like you have to start there. If you have a good story to tell, then you don't need like the highest budget of the world to do it. And sometimes it becomes not so good for a film to have so much to invest, because I think that sometimes the creativity is something that comes with the need. I mean, the you need to be creative to do a film that it's original. And so I think that sometimes in indie horror, what I see is the originality. I don't know if that is a word, but I see really beautiful original films in indie horror, and that's why I love to like when I find a film and it's like a discovery, I get like my soul gets filled up, and so I'm very happy. I saw this film 2 days ago, so I'm with all this hype, and I didn't want it to miss. No, I'm so happy to see. I can't believe I'm here. Such a fan. I'm still in the mode of fangirl. Like I haven't like I need to calm down right now. So Adrian, take the lead.
No, well, actually, I also, I mean, I really appreciate the originality of the film, because the problem nowadays is that in making cinema, they are using formula all the time. You know, I hate the Netflix formula. I hate the Amazon Prime formula. That's why I'm almost looking for the indie films in festival all around the world. In Latin America, we have one in Buenos Aires, in Colombia, in Mexico. So I speak. I think horror it's like a small family, because all fans talk to each other. I was talking to a director in Thailand about the horror folk, because the Thailand horror folk is amazing. I said, oh, you should watch Hellbender because it's also a horror folk. And in Colombia we have another horror folk. So why this particular subgenre? Why this idea? And how did you come up with this own original mythology? Because you set the rules for this mythology.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, we rely very much on nature. We live in a very rural area. You know, when looking out the window, there are beautiful trees and the mist coming over the mountains. So we use what's at our fingertips, and what's at our fingertips happens to be very powerful and beautiful.
And
So we,
also keys that come out of your hands.
yeah.
Like you
So
just
that I should mention our fifth honorary family member is his name is Trey Lindsay, and he did that effect. He does a lot of our special effects, and he's one of us, and he's wonderful. But yeah, so nature's a big influence for us, and we use natural light. I mean, we love, and then as far as the mythology goes, we also just took a note from nature. We wanted to make these women have at their have their magic come from what is literally in front of them, whether it's moss or spider webs, ivy, and we wanted to take it down to its most simple form and have their magic. A lot of their spells come from the simple nature that's around them.
But you were inspired like in Druidism? I mean,
what was that? Say that again?
Were you inspired in Druidism? Druidismo, los druidas, druids.
Oh, no, we didn't look into the druids at all. We looked into women like Lilith or Lamia, the Libyan serpent goddess,
Yeah.
Kali, Kali the destroyer.
Yes, the goddess of the destruction from India.
Yeah, that was very influential, and especially with Lamia, she got her power from eating babies, and at one point we thought, oh, maybe they get their power from eating babies, but then we just made it blood and the fear that runs through it.
No, it was amazing. I mean, although I think that I love that to recommend this kind of films to people, because sometimes it's so amazing that I'm here in Argentina and I got the chance to watch Hellbender, and I think that it's a great film. Like I would definitely watch it in any sort of platform. I'm not like Adrian. I'm not against the platforms. I do think that they sort of have a little bit of a closed mind when it comes to getting sort of this sort of amazing films that I discover in indie, like indie horror films. Are Shudder is like a platform for me to see indie horror films. But then I go to see this film by a link that Adrian gave me, and I was like, I don't
Yeah,
understand
because
why.
we don't have Shudder here.
No,
We
no, we
in Latin
don't.
America. So we don't have anything. Actually, most of the directors, they send me directly the link because we don't have time. So they share so they can have audience here. Because I mean, they don't care. I mean, it's well, technically there are sites for that. They are not technically legal, but most of the directors in the U.S. they prefer to people to watch their films because there's not other possibility. That's the problem. I mean, I try actually to enter to Shudder, but it's blocked in all Latin America.
Yeah, we wish it was in more nations. It makes me sad that it's not everywhere.
I think that they're trying. I think I think Shudder actually is trying to have a market in South America, and
Where they should.
yeah, and I think I feel like that's something that's coming soon. I don't know. Yes, Toby knows better.
Don't promise me those things because I get excited.
But Shudder is a wonderful. We love Shudder. We watch movies on Shudder, and they're really fun. And it refers back to something that you said about there's a lot of movies that don't have big budgets, and so they're forced to kind of come up with original ideas and ways to tell a story. And that's something that we really love is watching other artists come up with interesting original ways to show magic or to show violence or to show or to have metaphors about life in a horror genre. And that's something that we think Shudder does very well is they're really good at picking movies that are kind of original and independent.
Yes, I always say that I think horror is a great way of just spilling some light on certain aspects of life that maybe are sort of taboo if you do it in some way, or maybe it's something so dense to speak about without this magical sense of realism that you get in some sort of horror films, like for example Hellbender. I think that this sort of metaphors are used for a catharsis in the public that is super necessary. And I think that I feel it when I see a good film. It's something that just gives me energy. I don't know how to explain it. I watch a good horror film and I really get this sort of extra energy after it. And I get happy. People are like, oh, but can you get happy after watching the people get ripped off in pieces? And I'm like, this is the most amazing moment of my day. Like, please, I need more guts to be spilled off. Like,
that's why we love horror. We're always watching new horror movies to see what scares us because it feels like it's been a while since something has scared me or just made me feel thrilled or made me feel something I haven't felt before. So we're always on the lookout, and that's why I love horror.
But also, you bring up a really good point about horror. You're allowed to tackle subjects that are harder to tackle straightforward, like you can tackle subjects like judgment. Like we had a really good time with Hellbender about talking about judgment, like who's allowed to judge who. And in Hellbender, you have these two Hellbenders that to human standards are pretty vicious. And the mother is trying to adhere to human standards, but the daughter realizes, well, wait, I'm a Hellbender. Why shouldn't I be what I am? And those kind of concepts, they run through our everyday lives, but they're easier to talk about through a horror movie.
Yeah, actually, the story about the sheep raising the wolf as a sheep was really amazing. That dialogue was, wow, chilling. That's the word. And it's, yeah, I remember it's an excellent use of dialogue to create an atmosphere. I remember the last time I feel like that was with a Carpenter movie called In the Mouth of Madness, what Sutter Kane started talking about these creatures, eternal creatures. The use of dialogue there was incredible. It's a real story, right? It's like a tale, an ancient tale, the story about the sheep and the lamb.
That's one that we talked about a lot. We wanted to have a really beautiful kind of poem, and the four of us wrote that kind of in our truck, actually, over and over. We really needed a moment where she really kind of explains some things, but we wanted it to be a really dark poem, and it was really fun that she does it with a big smile on her face while she's got her her victim split in half.
Yeah, it's like a nursery rhyme for children, which I think if you look historically at a lot of the fairy tales and nursery rhymes, on the surface they seem like they're about good and evil, but at their core, I think they're about human nature and what we do to rise up against the challenges of darkness and pain and terror, which is why I love fairy tales for those reasons. And I love that they're made for children. Children, I think, seem to understand it better than adults, who sometimes forget that it's not like life is absent of terror. It's obviously full of terrors. But what do we do to evolve with those terrors, or challenge ourselves to not be consumed by them?
Yeah, I agree about the child's vision of the world. Sometimes we think that they don't understand, but sometimes they even understand death by its simplicity much better than maybe us, that we are so scared of it. I think, well, maybe I'm speaking in my opinion, I'm super scared of death. And sometimes when you talk to a child and they see the world in a much simpler way, and it's so amazing to watch the world through your children's eye. Like when I speak to my daughter, I'm saying that, and I'm like super amazed by the way she sees things differently. But I wanted to ask, you said that you used all natural lighting. What do you mean by that? What kind of camera did you use?
Oh, yes.
We use a Canon 5D, so it's pretty small.
No.
Yeah, it's 4K, so it's high quality.
What?
Oh, we can just bring it with us everywhere. And we never use fake or artificial lighting. We always just use the sun and the clouds. But we love to shoot in flat light, so when it's overcast, that way there's not a lot of shadows and bright lights. We feel it's a much cooler tone that matches the film more.
No, this is amazing what you're saying, because I think this is a great example that great cinematography doesn't need to be much more than have talent to tell a story. Like, I think maybe you can hire like 1,000 million people to make a movie, and it just keeps being bad because it doesn't have a story and it doesn't have talent. I mean, how many times have we watched like this super production budget films and they are so trashy, and I say, wow, what a way to spill money just to burn it up. And
Yeah, something. When I watch these kind of films like Army of the Dead, I see what a waste of money. We can do
what?
like 100,000 films with that money instead of that.
Well, yes, I mean, there are some people that consume obviously this sort of like Hollywood massive action films, and it's okay. I really respect that, and it's beautiful. Sometimes you need it. I sometimes watch the Kardashians when I'm having a rough patch and I need something to shut my head off. And I'm a huge fan. And when I just need to shut my head off, I need the Kardashians, and they help me to shut my head off. But sometimes you need like to eat healthy, no? And sometimes a good film is like a good snack for your soul. I mean, and that is what I felt when I saw Hellbender. And in every way, they touch something that I really adore. I love horror folk films, like a folklore here. Every horror folklore that I watch, I really enjoy. I think it's something that I really like. And I also like female leads, so everything that I got to see in the film was beautiful and it was of my taste, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for your film. I mean, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, it's
Yeah.
fun. Nature is something that we love being in. Like, we love camping as a family. We love traveling. We love going to just anywhere, going to the mountains, going to the desert, going to the snow. But one of the things when you're in nature is that you always feel like there's magic all around you that's kind of hidden magic. It's feel it in the ferns, like the way the ferns move. They're magic, but you don't know how to use the magic. It looks magic. And that was something that was really fun about Hellbender, was to make these characters that do know how to use the magic. They know what the magic is in a mushroom. They know what the magic is in blood. They know what the magic is in the blowing trees. And that was a really fun thing to develop in this film. And the last thing that's really important about Nature is she's a wonderful actress. She's the best actress that you can ever work with. Nature is always perfect. And so it's something that we just love, bringing ourselves out into nature, setting up a camera and letting her act. And then we just try to keep up with her.
That is beautiful.
By the way, the performance of all of you, even you, John, that you were killed in the first part of the film. Because I was saying, oh my God, that's John. That's he's in but really amazing performance. I wanted to ask about Zelda and Toby about their relationship, because it's about a mother and a daughter, and well, you are mother and daughter. So how can that affect the performance? How to integrate this real bond with the characters bond?
Yeah, in the beginning of the movie, we honestly were just acting like our normal selves. We are mother and daughter. We are very close, and we just.
Do you have a music band also?
We do. We have a family band.
You're
that
fucking
John and
amazing.
Lulu are in. So that was also us just being us, and all the music in the film is like, oh, thank you. But towards the end of the movie, it was a little bit more difficult because we had to be more hostile and aggressive. And I don't like to be aggressive towards Mom.
Yeah, if you know Toby, she's very nice, and you don't fuck with Toby.
Yeah, but it's very weird too to kind of like scold my kid, because both our girls are just super easygoing, and we are great friends. So yeah, towards the end, it was strange to be a little bit at odds, but I do recognize how powerful both my girls are. So as a mom, I totally celebrate that.
Yeah, I could feel the strength in every character, and that is amazing. Sorry, I didn't get it.
I said, I just don't want them to eat me. Just like. Sorry,
that would be like Greek tragedy, a Greek tragedy about daughters eating their mother. Like the Epicuro, alguno de esos, Euclides. I think that every character was very powerful, and it transmitted that power through every single shot. I think that what you said about nature is really beautiful, about the language of nature and letting her speak is something profound. I mean, there are lots of philosophers that speak about the fact that nature is always speaking. I don't know if you read Heraclito. He's a philosopher. It doesn't matter because he wasn't a reader as well. He just went to the mountain and he stayed there, and he said that nature taught him what he wrote. He's a very interesting guy because he wrote I think it was 500 years before Christ, and has these small phrases where he speaks that he discovered the language of nature, and nature spoke to him, and nature taught him what he wrote. So it's like a sort of mystical being that is writing something about the impermanence of life, and he never studied with anyone, but he studied with nature. So that is what is beautiful about Heráclito.
Well, we
I,
should. I would love to look that up. I mean, that's exactly what we kind of believe, is that you can see all the rules are set right before you in nature, and that was what was fun about Hellbender, was exploring that concept. You know, humans a lot of the time are at odds with nature, and it's hard for us because we're always trying to conquer something that can't be conquered. So inevitably, we always fail, and that is what happens with Hellbender. You can't conquer being a Hellbender. If you're a Hellbender, you're a Hellbender. And so those kind of concepts are just so fun. And it's really exciting that there's an audience out there, especially in the horror community, that loves those metaphors and also loves these conversations. And we're so happy that as filmmakers that we've found the horror community, because we can have these conversations with people like you know, thousands of miles away, and we're all talking about similar things that we love, and that's really important today.
yeah, and I think that horror is a genre that has this sort of fandom, like a sort of a fan community that loves to consume the horror genre, that I think that none other genre has it. Like this sort of fanatism, like to just investigate, like I want to read a good book, like I want to watch a good film. But in horror genre, you have like this sort of fans, like sort of me, like I'm really a huge fan girl. Like I get to see a good film and I'm like obsessed, and I'm happy, and I have to tell Adrian that I saw a great film, and we have to speak about this film, and the people that hear us are like, oh, I'm going to go and watch this film. And we don't care the language that it's spoken, because it's universal language in a way. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking, it matters what you're telling us through the film and what it generates us.
And it's true. I mean, I really enjoy a lot when I found these gems in the horror genre. It's so after I feel so good after watching the movie, and I cannot wait to tell others like Clara, oh, you should watch this film. And I'm a very social person, so generally I contact the director, and there I try to join direct, to introduce them. Actually, we are organizing a horror short film festival, and the idea is to have conversation with different directors. I would like you to invite you so you can meet two directors that actually they work the horror folk. One of them, it's, I don't know if you know the Colombian film Luz, the Flower of Evil. It's an amazing,
yeah,
I mean, you watch it? Ah, that's great.
I think that was.
We were at the same time with The Deeper You Dig. Our previous film was we're in the festivals together with that film.
A terrific movie, yes.
Well, we can organize with the director, with Juan Diego, a chat with you, and also we can integrate another. I will send you a film called The Return. It's on Amazon, I think, from Argentina. That is about also the director creates a mythology. It's amazing. So if you want, we can do that, because that's the thing about contacting the different artists around the world. You can put it together, and then we can, have an amazing conversation. I know, if you want, we would be honored.
That would be wonderful. Absolutely.
Do you guys know Martin Bluson? He did rock paper scissors, something papel tijera.
Era papel tijera.
Yeah, do you know?
Yeah, papel tijera. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
Them, they're from a man and woman director, Martin Bluson, and female director Magdalena. I'm forgetting her name, but that's a great film out of Argentina.
Yes. I can call him. We can also join him. We can tell you to join. He will be, yeah. Actually, because most of artists are very shy to contact other artists, and when they get together, they're very, very happy. I mean, my idea is if you come to Argentina, that would be great. We can, say the meaning with different directors.
We'll love that.
I was just about.
See, I want to
the
know about the effects, like some
yeah.
effects. Like, how did you do them? People love to hear about how did you do this and that, like that sort of things that are amazing. Like, for example, the key. I want to know why, how did that key came out of your hand in that sort of amazing way? Because I think it came out, it really came out.
You know what?
Just say the truth.
That's a really cool trick that our buddy, our fifth member does, Trey Lindsay. And the trick is this: you film the hand on the door, and then you take a green piece of paper and push the key through the paper and on the back of the paper is blood. So when it pushes through, it kind of drips a little and looks cool. And then you composite the key going through the paper on the hand, and you take away the green, and it looks real. It's very simple, actually. But Trey invented that little trick, and I think it's exceptional. And people love that scene with the key coming through the hand. But Trey is always a little embarrassed whenever he talks about it. He's like, it's kind of simple, so I'm embarrassed. I wish it was harder than it was.
No, never.
But
What's cool
simple is better.
He also did something really fun. He made it come out differently for the mom and for Izzy. With the mom, who's been doing it for years and years, he just kind of goes, bloom. But with Izzy, it's a new key. So the key comes out and it squirms a little bit. It's like excited, you know, which I think is really brilliant.
Yeah, he's fun to work with effects. Like we've cut our heads off, we've cut arms off. Right now we're doing a movie that's like totally Frankenstein. So we're cutting every single body part everybody has off. It's like really fun. And so all of our conversations with him are like, okay, now we got to cut off 5 fingers with some scissors. So how are we going to do that?
Oh.
He's like, oh good, lad. Let me figure that out. And so it's pretty fun. Try to figure out how to do effects like without digital, you know, so that it's not digital fake things, like trying to make things really happen.
Yeah, in 2 days we're doing a scene for our new film. That's going to be pretty brutal and bloody. It's a World War II flashback. No, sorry, World War I flashback. And there's going to be an arm that gets sawed off, and then a head that explodes.
But it's cool because we had the arm. We have someone who makes us body parts, and they're so real, they're terrifying. And in fact, we had an arm sent to us, and we had a bone put in it, and it got opened by the postal service because they thought it was real. So we're doing.
Who is selling body parts, people?
Right, exactly.
Stop
It's
this.
kind of scary. It's kind of like
We're buying them.
right, and we're buying them.
No. That's amazing. You know that when I watched lots of I'm a huge like nerd and geek, and I love to watch like the making of films because I really get like sort of obsessed when I watch a film. And you know that most of the films that we watch like are sort of to get how do you say las películas de culto are cult films. They were made like they didn't have the effects that maybe they used, and it was the first time that they were going to do it, and they had one take. Like that sort of stories that I think there's now a documentary on Netflix that's called The Movies That Made Us, and I think it's the second season that it's all about horror films. And like, for example, Wes Craven speaks about what it was like, you know, the people, but because Wes is dead, but the people speak about how the scene of the blood was done, and they got all electrocuted because it was never done before. And they didn't calculate that so much blood was going to come out, and there was going to be a light, and the light in the scene electrocuted everyone on set. And you say, but how didn't you know? Because it was never done before. And for example, I'm a huge fan of the franchise of Alien, and suddenly I'm watching the people like James Cameron, that he was an effects guy. He really was an effects guy, that one day he just had a dream of Terminator and wrote one of the best films of the 80s. And he got the film Aliens, and he was like sort of trying film things along the way. Like, for example, he said, how do we do this? Like, I think that maybe this would be real cool. But wait, why didn't you turn around the camera? And suddenly, you know, the film where like the GPS is sensing that there is a lot of movement around and they don't see any aliens. And where are they? They're in the room. There's nothing in the room. Where are they? And they look at and there is the ceiling, and they lift the ceiling and there are all the aliens there, but they are like inverted. So he was trying, when he was filming in the pauses of the film, like maybe on lunchtime, he just went along with a guy, and he said, "Wait, can you walk along this room like crawling, and I will film you like this?"
Wow.
And he said, "Well, this is really cool. We should try this." And for example, with the face huggers, he filmed it in inverse. And he said, we don't have the effect to pull, so what we're going to do is film it in inverse. And it was all new, and people were like, "What are you doing?" "I don't know. I'm just trying things." And I think that is the beauty of the making of films that I adore, is like hearing, like, how did you do this? And maybe it was an experiment that we did, and it just turned out one of the greatest scenes of Hellbender, and everyone is speaking about the key, the coming out of the hand. And you say, no, this guy just invented this sort of trick, and everyone is shocked with this trick. And there is no CGI, man. Stop.
Yeah, so fun.
We don't need, it has to be made. It doesn't have to be created off. It just has to be made. Like, I believe in manual things. They are more visceral. I think that they give me more of a repulsion when I see this created things that are sort of real and not, I don't know, a CGI post-production that maybe sometimes it works, but for me it's more visceral to see like the real stuff.
Yeah.
Like a monster, create the monster, do not do the monster like in post in a room. I think that I want to see and feel and touch the monster when I watch it. I don't know if I get a sense of what I'm saying, but that is the beauty about films.
Yeah, we like to do a lot of practical effects because it lets you just explore and make mistakes. Like, a lot of our best things in film are from mistakes that we've made, just trying out a lot of different things. And that's one of the advantages of being a family too, is we're allowed to just make mistakes and learn from them and get better over time.
There's a scene where you are eating a finger. I'm sure there's a prop for that, but
No, that's
no.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that's just
how
my
did we do
finger.
that?
I covered we went like this. I just covered her fist, and then I went like, ah.
It felt really
Oh
good.
my God.
Reminds me
Yeah,
of a little baby who's always chewing on your finger.
But we
Yeah.
did put a little plastic wrap on it so that she would pull the plastic wrap, and it had blood on it, so that it looked like skin being pulled, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Super simple. But and with Lulu, with her scene, John, you know, we shot that in the northwest of America where Lulu was living, and John had, well, I'll let you tell the story.
Well, we had to composite a log with Lulu, and what I did was I took a log, like a sea log that was just floating along the beach, and I got it out and I put it on a table and I poured chocolate syrup all over it and seaweed, and then Lulu sat on a table.
Like a big bone, right?
Oh yeah, and I found a big fish bone,
Like a spine.
and we jammed all that in there, and then we had Lulu, and we just composited the two of them together, and it was fun. It really looks good.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one to shoot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we agree with you that I think that people can tell, like, digital, like, obviously sometimes it's easier to use digital blood or digital things, but I think that there's just no way to hide that visceral feeling of seeing something actually happen. There's no way to hide it, and we all feel really uncomfortable when we see something real happen. So real blood and real cuts, there's just nothing like it.
No, that's amazing. I have lots of friends that do effects, and we are always, when we are filming together, there is a friend of mine that does all the effects of blood, and she comes on set with like 5 liters in each hand of blood, and she's like, "I'm ready." just tell me where to throw. And we're like, we want to throw the blood, and sometimes we don't throw blood, and we are like, no, today wasn't the day. I say, Chanel, today wasn't the day to throw the blood. Sometimes they say, no, we don't have time because we have to clean the set and go on with the timetable of the shooting, and she's with the blood waiting. Why not? We can fix it in post. It's like, we don't fix it in post. We need the blood, she says. We don't have time to like clean it. We need the blood. And I say, we need the blood. So that is something that sometimes it works. Like, you know, in Walking Dead, they do the stabbing with those knives that come inside and get outside, and they do the spilling of blood in post. But if I watch it, I watch it just once. But when I learned how it was done, I could always watch the digital blood. I could never again come back to the real blood.
Right.
It was something that when they told me the secret, I couldn't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great
There's
effect.
a lot of FX guy watching this live, so they are like taking notes. And the idea, the secret of the key, you know, on the hand, that's amazing. That's a very creative, and that's the thing about low budget film. You have to be creative, and that you have these kind of ideas. I also love the idea. You also create these rules with the interactions in dreams, because the two I love that the two characters, they are like rules. I mean, Toby's character, she doesn't know she's dreaming, so she starts telling Zelda's character all about the nature of Hellbender. That's really amazing, because it's true. When you are dreaming, you don't realize you are dreaming. So that was really, really amazing. How do you come up with that idea?
Well, dreams are super important to us. And there's something magic about dreams. There's so much truth that gets exposed in dreams. And since Hellbenders are like bigger than humans, we love the idea that they could like have a life in dreams, and that they could travel through dreams, because they're just, you know, humans can't, we don't understand dreams yet, but it was really fun to have these characters that they do understand dreams, and they can talk to each other in dreams, and there's just something very scary about that, and also seems to be like a horizon that humans are going to understand better. The dream world is still like a place that needs to be explored. And it was just fun to have the Hellbenders like know how to creep through each other's dreams and communicate with each other. And it made it so that they can't lie to each other. And it was fun in that way to show that it was creeping through her mother's head.
Well, that is like a sort of very Lovecraftian detail.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Lovecraft, and he has this third phase where he just goes around horror in dreams and the dream world. And it's something really terrifying, the dream world, because honestly, I think that we don't know what happens there. I know some people say that they astral project to another world, or honestly, there's some things that we cannot explain that happens, or maybe premonitions of things that really go on there, that I think there is not so much information about what happens when we are dreaming. Some people say that it's really similar to dying. Like when you dream, you come close to that sort of state, and that is something really creepy. I mean, so it's a strange world. I think the dream world, it was beautiful, and the fact that someone is inside your dream is something, well, like A Nightmare on Elm Street, where you cannot tell whether it's dream or reality, and you cannot escape. And there's sort of sensation where you're running and suddenly you can't see. Wait.
Because Clara is shooting for an HBO series or something like that. Oh, by the way, you should maybe you can cast Clara for your next film.
No, Adrian, no.
We have
I'm gonna shut it off.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think
I would love to.
She would love to. She's too shy to tell you that, but I
Oh,
will. I
perfecto.
I can tell she's wonderful,
Yeah.
and talented. Just how you talk.
will.
I'm in full fangirl mode right now. Nobody can stop me in this mode. Like, I'm not myself. I really like transform into another being when I'm like this.
You both
Like,
No,
nice.
Fangirl being.
no,
psycho
because
fangirl.
she's really a fan. She is always telling me I want to do more horror films because, well, you told me the other day, no, I'm doing this series. I want to do more horror. So, well, we
No, don't
should
say
keep
that,
doing.
Adrian. I really like the series. I mean,
Oh, okay, yeah, well,
don't take my job away, man. What the fuck? I need this, dude.
By the way, I have a
What?
question for Lulu. How was how do you feel when you had to do the scene when your sister started eating you alive? Because I'm getting.
I honestly love filming those ones with Z just because they were so, you know, we were there in person. It was just so funny. You know, she's the younger sister and everything, and now Zelda's taller than me, and she's this awesome, like, young, grown woman. And so it was very fun having her, like, be on top. And they were also just so fun to shoot because we were shooting them. Sites that usually would have tons of people, and we just had these beautiful sites all to ourselves, or at least screaming distance. And we probably freaked out some of the people nearby at night, hearing like screaming and no, you know, don't eat me. But that's part of the fun too. And it was just really fun getting into those scenes, and it was also really cold and wet. A lot of those gory scenes with her. And so it was really like easy to be kind of miserable. I'm like, oh, get me out of here.
Where you get all sticky with blood and you're like, oh, I need to take a bath. No, we have like 5 more hours of blood. And like, okay.
Yeah, we were all doing distance when we were filming during that time. And, you know, they are based in New York and I was teaching over in Oregon. And they were in their trailer and I would sleep in my car or camp next to their car, and we would all do distance. And so we would run back and I'd go try, like, I have this one memory of when we shot in an old dark like kind of a cave like area towards one of those final scenes, and I was so freezing cold and sticky, and I ran back freezing, and I realized that I didn't have the keys, and I needed the keys, and I ran to the car, unlocked it, grabbed my clothes and my towel, and then I realized that the shower was like one of those little push showers that only go for 3 seconds and you have to pay with quarters.
No.
I didn't have quarters, so I was waiting around for them all to come back and get into their car with quarters, and I just had to, it was so cold, and I was dipping my head under real quick to just rinse off real quick, but it was still so fun, you know. I wouldn't have changed anything. That was what made it so intense and like indie and like prideful to talk about later and something to laugh at.
No, I think that the worst sensation is the stickiness. Like maybe the cold is like a step lower, but feeling sticky with the blood, it's like, I need to take this off. Like right now, you're going to have hypothermia if you go to the shower. I don't care. I'm going to take it off. And you're like, that is...
Yeah, the blood makes you like extra cold when you're in the snow. It's, oh my God, it's the worst.
No, it's terrible. And you feel it like slamming through your back and you're like, oh, it's in my back.
In the hair.
Like it comes through to your panties and you're like, it got there. It got to the panties. Like, no. But it's so fun. It's so fun.
I love the scene when we discovered this layer. You know, that was amazing. This cave that I don't know they built. You know, that Zelda's character built in the house. Did you actually build that, or it was filmed in a closed studio?
Yeah, we did. We built a tunnel. It took us a while to figure out how to build a tunnel that we could film in. But finally we found a way to build that tunnel, and it's basically wire It's like a lot of wire with spray foam insulation and then painted. And then we made it so that it was a real tunnel, and we could either we could put the tunnel together, or we could split the tunnel in half. And it made it very convenient so that I could crawl through the tunnel with the camera, and that would be her point of view. Or we could take the top off, and I could follow her as she crawled through the tunnel. It was really fun to figure out how to do that tunnel. I'm glad you mentioned it. I love that scene, and it was fun to make. And it took us a little while to get it right. Like, I think we filmed that scene 3 or 4 times before we finally figured out we got to build a real tunnel, and we have to shoot this, and it's got to be really cool. And it was a really fun experience doing that.
How many days did you took to do the film, more or less?
It took all in all around a year, because we were shooting in all the different seasons, but we edit, we shoot, so that allowed it to be a lot quicker.
Oh, that's an interesting. That would be useful for future productions here.
Well, it's something that's a big advantage for us, is that since we're just a team of 4 people, and we do our music, we do our own editing, we do our own music, is when we shoot, we bring it home, and we can all look at what we've done that night and decide whether it's any good. Like, even today, we're shooting our next movie, and Zelda and I went down, we shot a scene, we came home, we looked at it, and there was something wrong with it, just a technical problem. And so we were able just to go right back down, just shoot it again, bring it back up, look at it, cool, it's good. And it's like, it's a big advantage. We don't have to hand our footage to somebody. We don't have to give it to an editor and ask them if it's okay. It's a really lucky way to work. We really love it.
Honestly, I think I cannot believe that, that I watched Hellbender and I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know you were a family. And now that I know this, it's like I'm hugely like amazed and sort of crushed. But I think that you're saying that you're a team of 4 people that made that film. And this is really important to just state this, because this is the message that I think that you have to tell us, is that you have stories to tell, and you have the talent to make it, and you don't need more than what you have, because you have good stories. And that is something that I always say, when you have a good story, you have a film. And also being a family and everything is sort of amazing. I think that I want to see if there is a documentary about your life shooting films. I will definitely watch it. Or your like a film based on your life. I mean, it's amazing. I think about it, and I think what are the odds that you have all this fanatism for cinema, that you can make as a family a film and do it good, and do it in a good way and in good terms, because it's not easy, and it's also rare to see this, because I don't know, I don't have anyone in my family that is like fan of films or that does anything similar to what I do. Maybe there are some people that do have that in common, but I think getting together and doing a film, because it's hard work. It's not easy to make a film. Even though you have all this passion and you have all this family, you have also this obsession, like, let's watch it and see the details of everything that you have to have a good film. And I think it's amazing. I mean, your story is a great story. Like, I want to see also every single one of your films, but I would definitely watch a film about your story, about your Adam family story of your life, and how you got to do the first film that you did, and the idea, and how was it, and everything. Because I don't know, I think it's pretty fucking amazing.
Well, thanks. I think we were lucky because we all started out together with a similar dream. And what was cool was that the girls were so young that they brought a whole different viewpoint as they grew as artists. So, like, we were mom and dad, but really we're just friends. But it's like these kids brought this whole original view of how to make a movie and what they liked. And so as we grew as artists, they actually taught us so much. They were these wonderful like kids with an original viewpoint of how to shoot a movie. And so it was really lucky that we all started out at the same time, because I don't know, there's a chemistry there that just has been a real joy. And it's really nice that people seem to like it. I mean, that's what's really fun, is that people seem to like it, and that makes it, that's like the cherry on top, you know.
It's true, because we love making films, and it's really fun traveling to the festivals together. That's like part of it that is just like so good. But it also helps if people are supportive and do like the films, because then you know, it is important that we make something that can stand alone, but the fact that we can do it as a family is pretty beautiful.
And again, that's the beautiful thing about the horror community, is the horror community allows us to take chances as an artist, and they allow us to make films as a family. Like, it's not like the horror community says, great, we'll watch a film made by a family. A lot of other kinds of, like, it's very like doing drama or comedies or something like that. I don't think like that crowd is as open-minded as the horror community. The horror community really allows you to take artistic chances.
Yes.
How in the horror community, people who love blood and stuff are some of the most lovable, like ugly, wonderful, warm people. Like you
Definitely.
guys, I find that so fascinating and really smart.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
honestly, I think the same. I also had like a death metal band when I played years ago with a death metal band, and they were all like, my parents were like really like obsessed with the fact that I was the only woman, and they say it looks like they're like orcs, Clara, and they are like playing, and I say that they are the most lovable beings in the world. I mean, one of them has a tattoo with the mother's face. People, they are like, mommy, I miss you. Like, they hug each other. I think that I put my soul on the plate for them, and that is something that really sticks. I honestly also think that the horror genre community is a lovable community, and people are really affectionate by how they are moved of films. They do not judge you for not being a celebrity. They do not judge you because they are there because they love to consume what they are doing, like to read books, to watch stories, to read manga and anime. I also see that there is a huge connection between the world of anime and manga in the horror genre. And I think that I honestly love the horror fan community, because it's what art should be always like. Not about celebrity, not about names, but just about the art. Let's watch a good film. Like, who cares who's done it? Who cares who is in the film? I mean, if you can transmit to me what you want to in a story, if you can move my soul, it doesn't matter who you are. You are the person to connect me with that thing that you have to tell me in the story. And that is something that is, I'm super grateful about the fan community, and also by the globalization that makes me able to watch your film, for example. Because maybe 20 years ago, I wouldn't have watched it, and I wouldn't have access to your film. And nowadays, I can watch your film because Adrian sent me your film, and I'm like, I could get access to something that maybe never came to the cinemas here to Argentina, because nothing comes to the cinemas of Argentina. Nothing.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're wonderful horror films here that they are a success abroad, but in Argentina, no one knows about them. So, yeah, I totally agree. Well, in high school, I was kind of a nerdy outcast. So my refuge was that, and I get together with people like the fans of sci-fi, horror, manga. And it's funny because when you're an artist in the horror community, the fans end up being your friends, and sometimes they produce your film. I myself, I'm now producing, a film for a horror film from a friend, Samot, actually Clara is in it. So I say it's a director that he can do a film with nothing. It's amazing. So and he needed as to finish
Well,
that thing. So I produce. I will get you the finance to do it. I will produce it because I want to see more of what you do. And that's what happened in the horror community. It's like it's very small, and everyone ends up meeting each other. I know in the US it's also like that, I think.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. We've met a lot of people, and we're starting to work with other people that we've met on the festival circuit. We're just going to shoot on Thursday with two great artists that we met actually at a festival in upstate New York, and we just got along really well, and they sent us their short, and we loved what they did, and we loved the way and so we're going to work with them. It's just like kind of getting together with finding other people that like to have fun, though. I think that's really important, that this is always fun, because if it's work, none of us want to do that,
Sorry, Gordy. Pasa nada. We're sharing the motorhome. Like I'm like in the middle of the motorhome, like interfering with everyone that is just passing through. Sorry.
You see, that's a horror fan. She's now. He won't be okay. I have to shoot something, but doesn't matter. We can do the live right in this. So
no,
now
I said to Adrian. Okay, do you mind if I go to makeup with you?
I was going to say, hopefully one day we'll get home. We'll have people passing us. All right, next time.
Wow, beautiful.
Well, so now we have a tour with the set through the set. Well, again, if you need anything, please let us know. We are still building this worldwide network. We would love to organize some horror talk with the other directors, maybe in 20 days, if you can. That would be amazing. And also, if you need help to promote or to get a financing or anything, please let me know. Actually, now I'm doing films. I'm producing films, but because I love what I do. But I study economics. I mean, I don't know why, honestly, but that experience helped me. And at my 30s, I decided, no, I'm going to do what I love. So I returned to my origins with some tools, and now I'm helping a lot of indie directors to get that. So please, anything you need, and of course, if you come to Argentina, let us know. We will introduce you to everyone. And please come.
Wait, I want to know more about the script. Like, how do you write scripts? Like, how did you write your script of Hellbender?
We don't usually work with a full screenplay. A lot of times we'll have an idea of what.
But here we are in the motorhome of makeup. We are now in makeup with the COVID pandemic. I just had my, how do you say, hisopo?
Wow.
No,
I'm having it like every week. But here we are in the makeup motorhome. Sorry, but I want to know about your script. So I'm just gonna sit here and just put in silence mode, and you tell us about your script, because I'm really intrigued how you wrote your story.
We don't
It's
work
much.
with a very cool. Sometimes we'll have a scene and we think we know what we want to say, but then we start shooting it and we realize, oh, that's not what we want to say. We realize by doing it what works and what doesn't. So often we figure all that shit out just by simply jumping into the scene. But we rarely work with a full script.
But Toby always writes stuff out for us.
So, guys,
Toby,
I will go, but you will keep it with Adrian, okay? But I'm such a huge fan. I'm so happy to have just spoken a few words with you, and I hope to speak with you again, because honestly, Hellbender touched my heart, and I'm super happy to have found something that made that for me. Thank you so much. And every single one of your performances were amazing. You are great, amazing, talented people, and thank you so much for your film. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, so No, no, she's a real horror fan and really, I mean, no. She actually with Clara we joke a lot because I talked with directors that when you're a real, they love to work with actors and actresses that they really love horror because when you hire an actor that doesn't love the genre, you can tell the difference. And because when you do an indie film, you have to, in Argentina, I don't know if you speak Spanish, there's an expression, it's ponerse la camiseta, put the t-shirt on of the movie, like, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to sleep. You have to do it, otherwise it's impossible. What's the expression in English to say that? To compromise, I think would be.
No, I think like we talk about that all the time, that concept of when an actor basically buys into it. And it's like,
yeah,
you can tell when an actor buys in. And, you know, it's really important to us. Like we talk about that at the dinner table, the four of us, which is, you know, we want each of our characters to buy into it. Like they have to really believe and also feel like really comfortable in that character. And so we have a lot, like that's again, like one of our advantages is we can go home and we can show each other what we've done and talk about each other's performance and say like, I don't know, I don't think that looks quite real. And, you know, we're family, so we can be honest with each other. It's never mean. It's not like we're beating up on each other. We're in this together. So we all want it to be genuine. And I think that's what we're going after. And I think that's one of the funnest things about filmmaking is trying to find genuinity, like realness. And you know, in horror, it's also interesting because there's a lot of horror that's not real. It's like I don't think there's really a such thing as a Hellbender, but we do want it to be genuine. So it is important to us, and we hope that comes across in our films. Because it's a great thing. It's like, what did you say? What is the term? Putting on the t-shirt?
Ponerse la camiseta, like put the t-shirt on. Yeah. I don't know, you speak Spanish?
I love that too. So hopefully we're putting on the t-shirt well.
Do you speak Spanish?
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Posso parlare italiano?
Je parle français.
Ah.
I took school, but I don't really remember.
Say something. Come on, say something, Z.
Muchas gracias.
No, gracias a vos, gracias a ustedes, thank you all. Well, Clara is not here, so we say if you can cast Clara for a film, she would be thrilled. Please do it. I mean, she will. I mean, really. I mean, and she's really an amazing actress. I will send you some films because really, she's very humble, but she's amazing, and she will die if you cast her because she really loves your work.
Well, thank you. Thank you for introducing us to her, and it's great just talking with you guys. It's really nice. Thank you. I can't wait till we come down and we'll take you out to dinner.
I'll try to travel to the US this year or the next one. I have a lot of friends in New York and LA. I'll see if I can do it so we can meet because it's always nice to meet new people around the world. Thank you very much. And well, let's keep in touch and we'll see the next project. I hope to see it soon.
Awesome. Peace.
Gracias so much.
Gracias a ustedes. Chao, chao.